Hello and welcome to another video tutorial on creativeartshub.co.nz. In this video tutorial today, I'm going to be sharing with you some technical features that you'll find on your average digital point and shoot camera. In this episode, I'm going to be talking in particular about white balancing. Now, as the technology of digital cameras has been progressing over the years, the computers inside our digital cameras have been getting smarter and smarter. While your camera being as fantastically smart as it is, it may still have issues in determining what is the right kind of color settings to use as your white balance. And this is where you as a user can come in and tell it what is the right setting to use. The act of white balancing simply means that you are telling your camera what kind of light is lighting your subject. For example, if we were to be outside taking a photograph of a sports game, we could tell our camera that we are either shooting in sunlight or under cloudy skies, or if we are indoors and we're shooting a brass band, we could tell our camera that we're under tungsten lighting, like your average light bulb, or under fluorescent light bulbs, those long tubular ones. This helps the camera determine what are the right colors to use for taking your picture correctly and making it more true to life when you look at it on a TV screen, on your computer screen, and also when you print it out. Let's say you've taken a photograph and the colors aren't quite right. It might be a bit orange, or it might even be a bit blue or green, and this is mostly attributed to your camera not having the correct white balance set. So using the presets in most cameras, you'll be able to achieve true color reproduction by making sure you select the right one. On this table I've got quite a few cameras here which range in age and in brand and in the way that they take the picture and in the lens that they use, and I hope that by demonstrating the different features across these cameras you'll be able to discover the features in your own camera and set your own white balance correctly. So let's have a look at them. This here is a fairly old Olympus model digital camera. Let's turn it on. And let's check out the menu setup that they have here for adjusting your white balance. In most digital cameras you just simply go into the menu, and on this one I'm going to go mode menu, go to your picture settings, and there is white balance. You have the options of auto, sunlight, cloudy, tungsten or general light bulb, and fluorescent. This is also a fairly old style digital camera. This is a Sony Cybershot. If we turn around and have a look at the screen, we can select menu and scroll across to WB, standing for white balance. From there we have auto, sunrise, cloudy, fluorescent, and tungsten or general light bulb. This is a much newer Sony Cybershot model camera. It too has a very similar setup to the last one. Select menu and scroll down to WB for white balance. Within the white balance menu we have sunlight, cloudy, fluorescent 1, fluorescent 2, fluorescent 3 for 3 different kinds of settings for fluorescent lights. This is to your own discretion. You can try out these settings and see what looks more natural on the camera. Light bulb, flash white balance for if you're using a flash, custom preset, and custom preset set. I'll talk a little bit more about this one soon. This is a slightly more advanced Fujifilm FinePix camera. It has a lot of features that the user can change themselves manually, which is really good if you're interested in getting more professional with your camera. In the menu setup, very similar to the others, click on menu and then scroll down to white balance. Within white balance you have custom, sunlight, cloudy, 3 fluorescent modes, and also an incandescent mode for your standard light bulb. This one's also a pretty advanced camera. This is a Canon PowerShot. On its menu settings, by clicking menu, the first one to come up is white balance. It has auto, sunlight, cloudy, incandescent tungsten light bulb, fluorescent inside, and also if you have fluorescent with daylight. This is really good for if you're shooting in an office with windows. Flash for white balancing a camera with flash, and also custom preset. Many digital cameras also have a dial on the side. They have various features which will control various things in the camera. You might see letters like T, A, S, or even M. It's a good idea if you're wanting to set your white balance to set to the P function. This stands for programmable. This means that your camera does make most of the decisions for you, but there are some features that you can tell the camera specifically what you want. This is the PowerShot. This is the Fujifilm FinePix camera. This is the newer model Sony CyberShot. And this is the older model Sony CyberShot. Cool. So now might be a good idea to take your digital camera and have a look for those settings yourself. But for the rest of the video, I'm going to head outside and show you what these settings actually do and how this directly affects your picture. Let's take a couple of photographs outside on 2 white balance settings. Let's set one to auto. And because it's fairly cloudy today, let's set it to cloudy function. And just for fun, let's set it to tungsten. And say you're going to take a photograph inside an office block that has purely fluorescent lighting. And I want to take a photo of Christine, but I want to make sure the colours are just right. I'm going to set it to auto. Number 1. Alright, there's a lot of fluorescent setting in your camera. And let's try the few of them. It's number 1, number 2, number 3. I reckon number 1 looks more natural. And finally, let's try a totally different setting like cloudy. Cool. So what do you do if you have 2 lighting sources? Well, in this situation we have fluorescence and also daylight streaming in through the window. We're in an office block. Let's say you're wanting to take a picture in Pollard Hall where we are now. There's a good setting on your camera called custom white balance, which means that you calibrate your camera and tell it to calibrate according to a white source, like a whiteboard. I'll show you what settings to use in your camera. An easy way to set your custom white balance is to zoom into something that's white. Your camera can then register, through setting your custom white balance, what should be white with using the 2 sources of lighting. In this case, I'm going to click Set. The camera takes a photo and registers what is white from the 2 sources of light. Now that should be a correctly calibrated picture. So setting your custom white balance is really good for when you have tricky lighting situations. This can translate to other sources of lighting. Say for example, you're in an office and you have fluorescence and also tungsten lighting in the same place. Custom white balance will help you sort out those funny colours. We've just experienced 3 lighting situations. Here are the photos. This picture was taken in cloudy daylight using the auto function. The colours have come out well for both pictures. This was taken in cloudy white balancing. And this was taken under tungsten. You can see how it's got the blue overcast. This was taken using auto under fluorescent lighting. It looks good. And this was taken in fluorescence 1, which looks a bit pinkish. And this was taken in cloudy, definitely a bit too orange. This photograph was taken using the fluorescent 2 option. It looks good. This was also taken in the daylight white balance, which is a little bit bluish. The difference in colour between these pictures may be small, but it is important to make sure that you can replicate skin tone accurately as possible. Well, I hope this topic has helped you understand a few things about your digital camera and achieving true colour reproduction by changing your white balance in your camera under different lighting situations. This is obviously the wrong one. Well, you know how to change that. You're most welcome to learn more about what we do here and also see more about technical and musical video tutorials on creativeartshub.co.nz. Thanks for watching.